is India versus England. I look forward to this test series starting in a couple of weeks. India hasn't named their squad yet, and there's a lot of questions that are hanging about. We'll go through first, though, England's squad, which has been named.
Okay.
So we've got, obviously, Ben Stokes, the captain. We've got Rehan Ahmed. So this is the spinner that Warney said in the nets in England that he's the next Warning. So a lot of big expectations on Rehan Ahmed. And we'll see whether he actually gets to play. I think last time he came, he didn't get to play. But we'll see if he gets to play in this series. Jimmy Anderson, man, how old is Jimmy Anderson?
Jimmy's still going?
This can't be a time. Jimmy Anderson is still in this squad.
Oh, wow. Jimmy. Good on
Yeah, it's he's just going. I think he's 40 now. It has to be 40, right?
Well, I think he's got a bit of beef with Bumrah, if you remember the
yes, the last series.
bounces there. So I think he's back for that. He wants to get back.
He wants, I don't know if he can bowl bounces, but he definitely swing the ball. Gus Atkinson, don't know who he is. Johnny Bairstow, Shoaib Bashir. So Shoaib Bashir is a new name that's been added to the squad. And I believe he is a batsman, I think. Middle order batsman. And we've got Harry Brook, Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Ben Folkes, Tom Hartley, Jack Leach. So Jack Leach probably will be their main spinner. And if they're playing two spinners, then I believe Rehan Ahmed will be playing as well. I think Shoaib Bashir is actually another spinner, if I'm being correct. And we've got Ollie Pope, Ollie Robertson, Joe Root, and Mark Wood.
I thought you were going to say Stokes, Folkes, and Wokes in the same one after the other.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Wokes isn't in the squad, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, they've gone, I'm guessing, with Hartley here.
Okay.
And
interesting Harry Brooks selection, because
yeah,
I understand Bazball, but will they implement Bazball here, considering do you remember England's last tour?
yeah.
Last disastrous tour here?
Yeah, they got out.
India.
They got out very
And who was the
easily.
hero in that?
It was Akshar Patel,
Akshar
I believe.
We're gonna talk about the Indian selection soon, but Akshar Patel is a shoo-in, 100%.
Has to be, man. He hasn't been in especially in the T20 he played last night. That was very good. But I mean, England squad, it's a strong squad.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is the question Bazball, right? Obviously, they will be playing that style, and it's about whether Bazball will be successful in India. Now, they've gone everywhere else, and they've done pretty well. I'll give them credit, right? And I do like the fact that they're trying something different in Test cricket. You always got to applaud that, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know how this will work in India, though. I mean, it matters if it's a spinning pitch on day one and Akshar Patel is bowling, who doesn't spin it that much. But maybe if Kuldeep is bowling and it's turning like square, do you still do the Bazball approach? Can you do the Bazball approach?
Well, normally you'd say no.
Yeah.
But that might be the only way to sort of hit out against that, like if they
Yeah.
start losing wickets, right? But I feel like, look, I'm very disappointed with England, because it's hard to sort of scope where they're at playing in India, because we saw what a disastrous World Cup they had during the round.
Yeah.
It was terrible. They were playing,
And they were the defending champions, right, of the World Cup.
to
And
believe.
it was incredible, especially the fact that the year before the T20 World Cup, they just hammered teams and they won it.
Yeah.
And for them to just come to this ODI World Cup and do nothing, absolutely nothing.
It was disappointing.
It
But
was disappointing, and it was a bit of like a scare through the camp of England to be like, is this what's going to happen in January? Like, is this what's happening?
Well, there's an interesting thing I read. We've seen this before from the Australians, I believe, when Shane Warne was around as well.
Yeah.
They're bringing their own chef. So England is bringing their own chef. So to avoid any sort of deli belly or stomach issues, you know.
Oh, so they're going to have their own shepherd's pies and shit like that.
Yeah.
And,
Do you remember Shane? Was it Shane Warne who bought his baked
yeah, he bought baked beans. Yeah.
They bought their own chef.
Well, that was like over 3 decades ago, though. I'm pretty sure the hotels are very good.
Yeah, it's
now in India, so...
I think that's based on, I think when Ben Stokes was last playing in the IPL last year,
Yeah.
he had issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why he was off most of the games.
This is what the Gorders don't understand. When you go to India, you need to have your Bisleri, the bottled water, man.
Don't eat the Golgappa when you're there.
Don't eat the Golgappas. You can't handle it. We can, but don't have regular water and ice. You guys need to have the bottled water and make sure that it's bottled water.
It's
and
hard.
maybe heat it up just to be sure.
It's hard with the ice because it's so hot, right? You want ice,
that's right.
but you can't eat the ice.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably making schoolboy mistakes still, when coming to India. They definitely were during the World Cup, so. But,
who's the chef, but it's going to be Gordon Ramsay.
oh, that'd be sick. Gordon Ramsay turns up to the test series making, filet mignons and all this sort of stuff.
Swearing at like Ben Stokes or
I gave you a filet mignon. Why didn't you get 100? You fucking suck.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a good series. I think England on paper have a really good squad.
Yeah.
Right? Now, they've just got to perform.
Yeah.
In India.
Yeah. They got to perform. And look, that was England's squad, but we'll now turn to, I guess, our squad, which hasn't been announced. And there's some interesting questions. So, Cheteshwar Pujara got a double 100, another one.
Yeah.
Now, do we bring him back? Obviously,
yes.
I don't believe Shreyas has played well in the last couple of months, both in ODI and Test cricket. He looked abysmal in the Test series.
Especially against the short ball.
Yeah. And
he's always struggled with.
I mean, do we play Shreyas? Like, is that the call here, or do we go with the man in form and the one with experience in Pujara?
Okay, so there's the question mark about Shreyas. There's also a question mark about Shubman Gill.
Yeah. After having such a great 2022,
ever since he got dengue
at 2023,
just before the World Cup,
it's been different. Yeah,
it's been different. He hasn't scored like a magnificent innings like he had before, right?
And look, we've given him some leeway because he had dengue.
Yeah. And
we've also been teasing him that he had dengue as well by calling him dengue.
The two players that have been out, Rahane, who pretty much took India to that famous World Cup, the famous Test series victory in Australia.
The Gabba Test, yep.
He's been ousted, and Pujara, right?
Yeah, who was a hero that day as well at the Gabba.
Yeah. I feel like those two need to come in. Maybe not Rahane. I don't think he's done a lot. But
I don't think Rahane has done enough.
You got to give another youngster a go then. You got to give like Sarfaraz.
Mate, we can't say that with your name on this podcast.
Damn it.
BCCI will come after me. Why isn't Sarfaraz Khan picked? I just don't understand this.
You got to play him, right? You got to play him in
the guy is scoring hundreds upon hundreds in domestic cricket. He's been known to be a great talent, and I don't understand why he can't get picked.
You just got to give him a go to see how he goes, right? Like, he might go well, he might not go well.
I mean, to me, they've given Sky a go in Test cricket. Sky. But they won't give Sarfaraz. I just don't understand some of the thinking here, but I mean, this is the BCCI we're talking about.
It's interesting. It's interesting the hole that Hardik Pandya has created with his back injury.
Yeah.
Because after he injured his back, which was a very debilitating back injury that he had, remarkable recovery. But since then, India has not found that extra player to replace him, right?
No.
It's always been someone popping into that position, not doing well. Next player coming in, not doing well.
And that's the thing, right? Like, they've tried Shardul Thakur and, I mean, on Indian pitches, you'd think that obviously Akshar Patel will get that sort of spot. And obviously Jadeja's got his own spot there in the team. But they haven't found anyone to... Hardik plays a really crucial role. He can be that fourth seamer that is there. And unfortunately, there is no one like that in currently, I don't believe, in the ranks to be called up.
Yeah. And this is also, just remember, this is the beginning of close to the beginning of the WTC cycle, right? This is the time, if you're going to blood new players, this is the time to blood them and give them a chance to build over the next 2 years towards that final, right? Obviously, you got to win tests to get there, right? But you got to have a core there, which India do have a core already, but you got to blood one or two players, give them a chance.
And from what I'm hearing is the BCCI is now just completely frustrated with Hardik Pandya, right? He's had back injury after back injury, and they only want to play him when he can do both bowling and batting. And you just have to wonder what happens in his comeback. He's slated to come back around, I believe, the IPL.
What a coincidence. So is Sky.
Yeah.
So is Ishan Kishan.
But, I mean, would that be enough to bring him into the squad for the other tests that are in the year? I don't believe so. I don't think they'll risk him in test cricket anymore, Hardik Pandya.
To be honest, like, I know this is a bit off topic, but I feel like it's them coming back in the IPL shouldn't be enough for them to come back in the World Cup squad either.
No, and we'll talk about that as well coming up. But yeah, I mean,
it's not enough to get. Test is like, I mean, I understand if you've played test before as well, but you got to build up for test, right?
Yeah,
and you've got to have proof on the paper that you've done well before, just before you get selected.
Yeah.
So you have the best chance to do well in that test, right?
Yeah.
And there's players who have done well, who are scoring runs in the domestic circuit,
Yeah.
who are scoring runs in...
Yeah, like Sarfaraz Khan.
Yeah.
He's scoring.
Well, also Prithvi Shaw, I've got to say, poor guy, doesn't even get a look in these days. But
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Once you're not in favour with the selectors, they don't tend to come back to you. And I don't know why. Like, it's even if they are performing. So we'll see whether, I mean, Pujara gets picked or Sarfaraz Khan gets picked. If there is any series to play him, I would say now. I don't believe Shreyas has done enough to stay in the team. At least stay in the 11. I don't think he's done enough. And I mean, I think it's time we tried him out, and but we'll see where it goes.
interesting.
It'll be interesting, yeah.